lounging, son.
All right, welcome back to the Comic Lounge. My name's Ryan, and I got two of my best pals joining me today. I got Eli Schwab, Cosmic Lion, and the Ghost Agent himself, Rocco Jerome. We are reconvening. I think it's a week now, week to the day.
Yeah,
Since
well, it's Friday, so tomorrow
yeah,
will be the actual week. But we were
right.
all like in the wind
Yes,
this
we were all together in person a week. It started a week ago for IC3 Indie Comics Creator Con. We're joining up together today to discuss kind of our experience there and kind of unpacking it all because we all played a pretty, significant role. Rocco, pretty big role over there. Eli running Cosmic Lion Island, and I, doing some panels. So just thought it would be cool to kind of like, discuss this first indie con that I know of this level with so many of our friends. So
Yeah, very cool. Thanks for
yeah.
noticing, by the way. It's always nice. Yeah, no, it was awesome, man. It was, I think surreal is a word that was used frequently over the course of the weekend. It was interesting to be able to sit in the hotel bar, which wasn't very large at all, and kind of look around and recognize everybody from Facebook. It's like some sort of a weird dream where like your Facebook suddenly becomes a real place, and it's people from all over the country came to that thing, and just mind blowing. Just mind blowing. It's interesting how like over the years, I've been very online since online kind of became a thing when I was like 15 years old in the mid 90s. And I've met a lot of people in person who I had known from the internet first, back in the days before what we're doing here, like with video and things. And it was always like there's a learning curve. Sometimes you like people more, sometimes you like people less than you thought you would. Sometimes you're just kind of confused and befuddled. But I felt like since we've all Zoomed together and seen each other on your show or on interpersonal Zoom meetings and video conference meetings, it's the only thing that was really surprising was people's height.
Yeah, dude, I felt fucking short as hell, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody was like tall, towering over me. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm tall. Eli's kind of tall.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of us are tall guys, as it turns out. So.
Yeah.
But not as tall as Mizimo, who's probably the tallest.
But yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing. I felt like we all just sort of clicked into place. It was a tremendous hang time. As it turns out, the show was actually pretty successful. I think the one thing that we kind of hadn't reckoned for, not to say that our scene isn't good or quality or deserving of attention, but we're used to things that click all those boxes, not always doing as well as one would hope. So we all had sort of like said to ourselves, like, and each other, like, well, this is going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody but us cares about us, but it turned out very pleasant surprise that it seemed to be really well attended.
Well, we keep saying, our crew and our crew, this and that, but there was also there was a lot of other people there too that wasn't just our crew. There's people that I didn't know at all and, didn't recognize, and they were great cartoonists there, and like the lesser known comics crew was all there, and they kind of had their areas and everything. And so there was like a couple different like clicks that were clicking in, and it felt like everyone was kind of just super open. And I think that's what I've heard a lot of people say felt different about this con, is that there was this like sense of positivity coming out from all the creators, where everyone was, interested in looking around. Sometimes when I go to these big cons anymore, I'm just like, I don't even need to walk around. I've seen everything. It's all the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's just, it wasn't that at all. Everyone wanted to walk around. Everyone was, you got to walk around and you would want to be like, oh, I want to see this person. Well, they're out walking around, checking stuff out themselves. Like there was so much amazing stuff to see. And, I didn't buy as much as I should because everyone kept giving me stuff. But like, I wish I had more time to have gone out there to target specifically the people I didn't know, and see this new stuff and get turned on to these new creators. So I think that was one of the most amazing things too, is that, as much as we knew everyone there was also a whole nother clique of people to learn and to find new independent creators.
The thing that tripped me out the most, obviously, like I've interviewed quite a few people and meeting them in person the first time, but the thing that tripped me out the most, Eli, and it still trips me out sometimes, is like the way I got into this group was all because of us meeting at the shop I was working at, and you subbed the Eastman covers of Turtles, you know, and that's what our friendship started. So like to see like that initial like like meeting you and like becoming friends, and then to have that culminate to where like all these people are now in my life, and to me it all traces back to like me meeting you, right? Like if I didn't meet you, like none of this would have happened for me. At least I never would have been in this world.
You would have found the kayfabe show.
I don't. Maybe I hadn't even heard of them, to be honest with you.
Really?
When you brought it up to me, I was like, what the fuck is that? Because I didn't really watch YouTube, to be honest with you. I didn't have a channel yet. I fucking had my website. I fucking wrote a blog and whatever. The weirdest part is that, like, Rocco, you said it too, is like we've seen each other over Zoom, but it's like it makes that initial meeting in person, there's no awkwardness.
No.
Usually when you meet somebody the first time, you're kind of like, like you're feeling them out, right?
Feeling
But
each other out.
Yeah, but you just
seeing how it kind of hits.
Right, but you just jump into conversations. I literally walked up, gave you a hug, and fucking we're talking, right? Like that's immediately.
Yeah, there was no moment in which we didn't, have something to talk about. Like,
yeah.
Like all these people I had known for a long time. Like there was one moment where I looked over and saw like Grom and Rick like walking around together, and I was like, that's something I've seen a million times for like 10 years.
That's really true.
It was the first time I'd ever seen them together in real life. But I was
we're talking about Rick Lopez and Dave Grom, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know us. It's watching.
No, it's
like everybody kind of like, got in where they fit in. It was pretty much what you feel like if you could manifest what your social media looks like, or your private messages as well. It looked like what it looked like.
Yeah, it was like a Facebook group in person.
Or Jeffrey Allen comes in, I go and talk to him for 2 hours, like the way that we talk. Like it's like everything that happened was like exactly like the internet in person, which also made me feel good about how well I feel like our internet works, as far as interpersonal stuff, like it really was just like, okay, we're all just hanging out in person and we're sharing, pizza, the great New Haven pizza, which we were lucky enough to also experience. But I mean, it was an awesome time. It was an awesome time. I mean, it was a victory all the way around the dial.
And I think the panels too were pretty sweet. I mean, Rocco, you hosted them all day. Me and Ryan.
Thanks.
Well, Ryan and I hosted the Ninja Turtles panel.
Yeah.
With
Important, Dylan. I what I didn't want to do under any circumstances was like just host everything so that it's all like about me. I didn't want that to be the vibe, but Ryan and Manny, I guess, actually hosted most, or Ryan was on most panels.
I think it was on 3 of the 5. There was 5, right? Yeah. So I did the first 2 with Manny.
6 of you also count the.
And there was a lesser known one with
the lesser known comics one, which
was
also
the Comics Wellspring one. Forgot about that one.
But we didn't book that one. That was kind of like the one edition.
Right. But it was great because like there were a couple, like I had interviewed most of the people I was on the panel with. So like I already had that rapport. Monty Keene probably being the one I've talked to the most besides the 2 of you or Manny. Like I've done so many videos with him. But it's like even as I was up there talking to them, I was like, I can't believe that I'm talking to them in person. So like I would like drift off and like kind of it was like an out of body experience for me where I'm like, am I at home watching them on a screen or am I really sitting with these guys in person? And it's like it was a beautiful experience for me, for sure. Like it was to me, it was like something I'll never forget. I think that leaving that first panel and going back upstairs when we walked back up and seeing how many people, like non-people tabling, right?
Yes, I wanted to talk about that as we were approaching the room. You hear that, but you hear all like a buzz of a lot of people talking at once, and I was like, "Oh no, people are here. People came." The one thing you can't really control.
Right. And then it was the same thing with the second panel because the 3 panels that I was on were back to back, right? Like they were all in a row. So I came back up after the 11 o'clock panel. It was fucking a lot of people. Then the noon panel, even more people. Right. And then after the turtle one, it was like that room was fucking packed almost. It was crazy.
People were making money and it was working. And like, it's, and I have to emphasize this. I'm not saying that I was surprised by that because I don't think we had a good show or that we have good people there. It's just how many people actually care about this. Quality and people showing up is often two different, two very different things in the world that we truck in. So having a lot of people come was great. You
Yeah.
know, it really worked. And
Oh.
it made me excited about the future. And it proves that all of us have a thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For wrestling fans, this was all in. You guys don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but this was the moment where it's like, okay, yes, we have something. We can do things.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to this.
I agree. And I think like the after hours too, the like drink and draw the first night, you know, my notebook got filled up. I mean, both nights it got filled up, but those after hours, especially the first night, was really, it's always kind of the most fun. Like it reminded me of Heroes Con in that way, where it's just like everybody's there hanging out. Everybody's there. They're not, nobody's out like taking a meeting because they're trying to do the next thing, or nobody's like, oh, these two the most famous two people are off having a dinner at a nice Italian steakhouse. It was
I'm
like
glad you
everyone
mentioned.
was just there hanging out and being an artist and having fun, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That was really cool to me.
Yeah. That hadn't really fully occurred to me, so I'm really glad you mentioned that because yeah, I conventions I've been at before, like someone is like, let me take out the most famous person for an expensive dinner. And that person like lives in you know borderline poverty, so they're excited to be able to eat someplace nice, so they'll take the deal. Like there's no place any of us would have rather been on earth than in that bar and that hotel in New Haven, Connecticut. Like no other place.
Yeah. And for me, I'll take a moment to like really throw out some gratitude to the Cosmic Lion Galaxy of Stars. It felt really amazing to be surrounded by all these artists and creators and writers, then people who are working with me on books and who, you know, I've only talked to in chats or on Zooms separately or together, but to really be in you know, at Cosmic Island or chilling at the bar there and just have everyone in the room and to feel this camaraderie and this like team, like here's this team that, you know, we've cultivated, we've brought together, and it just felt like really, really cool and powerful and empowering and just really cool to have the Cosmic Lion family of artists there. Like that was super cool for me and inspiring to, you know, get more work going and to see, you know, someone like Morgan Heron have a really great day and you know have his mom there and she's excited and she's hanging out with us till 4 a.m. and everyone is like, you know, just excited and new books debuting and people coming and saying, oh, I want Space Nights, I'm here for Space Nights, or let me get this. And oh, the Paraphrenic dudes, Gary and Tate coming in from our hometown, Cumberland, Maryland. Like it was just so cool to see this like Cosmic Line convergence at IC3. It felt amazing.
I didn't get a lot of pictures. I didn't take a lot of pictures, but it was mostly important to me to get a picture with all the Ghost Agents artists in attendance.
Yeah.
It was a big deal for me.
Yeah.
I miss Jamie Jones. I
Oh yeah, I
forgot
forgot
that
he had that pinup.
yeah, he did the back cover of, of Ghost Agents Crimson Reckoning. And then I didn't know that Anton was coming. So Anton's not in that picture either. So that's too bad. But
You can
everybody
Photoshop
who
it.
did stories that was there got in that picture. So that was really cool.
I definitely missed some pictures of people because like I got too wrapped up in the conversation. Then I'd walk in, I'm like, fuck, I forgot to ask to take a picture. And then I was already on because there's so many people.
So
Like
many
it
people
was
there.
to me, it's like I needed more time. You know, like I like my suggestion, like at the end of it all would be like, you know, I think that especially for people tabling, right? Like you don't want to leave your booth because that's potentially leaving money, you know, no pun intended, on the table. But like maybe like a preview night, just and you could have the public, but more just for the people that are tabling to kind of network and talk to people and be able to check out each other's stuff. I think would be kind of cool
Yeah. We
because
had a
like
little like what 3 or 4 hour window setting up where we were able to kind of do that. Like that's
mhm.
what we got the Ghost Agents picture.
But most people didn't even come set up Friday. Most people set
True.
up Saturday morning, so
That's
it
very
wasn't.
true. That's very, very
And
true.
and the after party on Sunday would be another good idea that we could add on, you know, and have another. That's another kind of like party time networking event where you know people come. You bring some books and you trade them, and you know you eat and drink.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do like a brunch or something.
Yeah.
Even
Eli and I stuck around.
I know you guys did.
like
I
a plane till
regretted,
Monday. Yeah,
fucking regretted my early flight. Let
I
me tell
bet
you, the
I mean, we
fucking
got
time
to go to
change.
Sally's and have some of the best pizza ever, and
Yeah.
just kind of like be a little hungover. Went to the comic shop there in town. Just it was good. Eli has often observed that I'm a big fan of luxury. I just like to be able to luxuriate in different situations and just like,
You took your bath and hung out, and
yeah, just
that
be
was funny. He knocked on the door and was like, "Eli, are there any towels here?" And I was
yeah,
like, "Oh God!" And I was looking around and I was like, "I can't find any towels, Rocco. Maybe paper towels." And he's like, "Oh God!" And then I finally like noticed that there was like towels rolled up on the bed in the one bedroom, which I won with a coin flip.
yeah, right. I was on the couch.
It said 2 bedroom, but
Yeah. It was a
much like
fold
Rich
out bed
Hedberg,
and it had a piss stain. And it also had the, like when a fold out bed has those two bars,
Mhm.
it's like it's just horribly uncomfortable. So I was like, I'll just sleep on the couch. But
yeah.
wasn't all that bad. But still, I mean, it was nice to be able to just kind of just hang in that for a long time, a little
Mhm.
extra time afterwards. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to leave for sure.
well, I
Yeah,
mean,
stayed up till 4 a.m. on Saturday.
I know if my Uber wasn't there, I would have run over, but I don't want to get stuck in a conversation and piss my Uber off. But I saw you guys when I came down from the fucking, or at least I saw you, Rocco, sitting in that fucking chair at
oh
4:30
yeah,
in the morning. I'm like, this dude didn't go to sleep? Like,
yeah,
my God,
I got
dude.
there. I got
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I have to get a little sleep every night is the leap
Yeah.
count. But yeah, I was up late. Yeah.
Hmm.
Chad in Amsterdam, quite a character.
Oh yeah, dude.
Character.
Meeting him in
Anytime
person,
I've
like
hung with him, I've closed down the shop, closed
Yeah.
down the bar or wherever.
it was crazy to, having people that I didn't even know who the fuck they were knowing me from Comic Lounge, that tripped me out. I was like,
Yeah,
how the
man.
fuck? I didn't even know. Because sometimes I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, I know there is subscribers to my channel. Like, I obviously can see it, but I'm like,
Yeah.
do people fucking, are they really watching these fucking
You
videos?
definitely see
You
how
know?
some like comic book people start to convince themselves that they're of like Tom Cruise level fame. Because
Yeah.
like, going and like looking around, seeing ghost agents things on people that I know, and then I start seeing ghost agents things on people I don't know.
Yeah.
And a few times as I'm walking around, I kind of catch people kind of looking at me like from the different angles of my face, because it's like I guess they know me from somewhere. And there were, I'm sure you got this too, a lot of people who were like, I know you, but you don't know me. And I don't really love that energy. I don't think of like people like ghost agents as like fans. I think of them as friends that maybe I
Mhm.
just haven't met yet in a lot of cases. I just think that fan thing is kind of wild. But we did meet a guy named Jake Kim who was a big Ghost Agents fan. He saw it on Kickstarter initially, and then through that became part of, seeing what we're all about. And he came all the way from San Diego just to be a part of.
Yeah, I saw him at San Diego Comic Con and he bought all the single issues off me.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to think that a lot of people there like already have Ghost Agents in their collection and stuff. It was
Yeah. There was so
awesome
much
feeling.
stuff I already owned
Yes,
from
right,
people,
exactly.
there was
Yeah,
so much stuff I already had where I'm like, fuck,
yeah,
I really want to like support you, but like I already own everything
exactly.
that you did,
Fill in the holes though. It's cool.
Yeah.
Like Jesse Lonergan and Wesley Griffith were my two that I wanted to make sure that because I know that I don't love anybody else, but like those guys are the ones where it's like I wanted to make sure that I bought whatever I was missing. And from
Hmm.
Griffith, I think that there was like three things I didn't have, and Lonergan, there was nothing on his table I didn't have already except for the ash can for his upcoming thing. So
Oh
and he
yeah,
gave
man's best,
one of
yeah.
those. So man, I mean, it was just being able to like, I always think about like the first time that I went to a comic convention was actually pretty recently, to be honest. It was in like the last like 20 years. I didn't really do it as a kid. But it was like, oh, I see what this is. It's like a flea market where every booth has comics. And then go into this show, it's like a Comic Con where every booth is pretty cool.
Hmm.
you know, it was just an amazing experience.
It'd be
And
good buying a comic off any of the people that were there.
Hell
You'll
yeah.
find something interesting and cool.
yeah, very much so.
Not to
Very
put Sam J. Royale on blast either, and I won't give all the details, but man, that he definitely left a lasting impression. I'll just say that,
He did. Yeah.
The
He
NBA
was,
Royale came in
Yeah.
pretty hot and heavy. And,
yeah.
we
Well, he
loved it.
brought the Royale entourage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He brought a whole group of guys who are all from the same part of the world as him. On Saturday, the actual go day, he he was very well put together and he handled it well. And anything that he had knocked over, he put back up during the course of Saturday. I'll put it that way.
We'd all be so lucky to have an entourage like that at a Comic-Con.
Yeah,
Looked
that
pretty
was
cool.
pretty funny to me. I was like,
Looked
they're
pretty
all
handy.
wearing the logo. They're
Yeah.
all rolling deep, like he's like rolling deep, like as they're like they just like move as one too,
Yeah.
like through the
Yeah.
fucking lobby. That
At
was pretty
The
lunchtime,
funny.
Royale
everyone went out and
entourage,
came
man.
back with pizza and food.
Yeah. And I mean, he was the one who's touched everybody, because the Ghost Agents logo, which is always, a foot from my hand, is all over the place. And so
What was
is the
crazy?
logo, and so is his own logo.
Yeah.
So
What was nuts to me, and he has never told me this, was that first of all, he told me I was the first person to ever interview him, and I'm pretty sure I already knew that, but I couldn't remember. But what I didn't remember is in that interview, he held up a onesie with the logo on it, and he's like, "One day I'm gonna fill this out," and now he has a kid, and he
oh
said he like
wow.
thinks about that sometimes, and I'm like, "Holy shit, I didn't even realize that,"
That's
like,
amazing.
so it's pretty crazy to think like, the moments that I've had with people, like over the course of, I think it's been like 4 years, I
It has
think,
been
like
4
since
years.
we all kind of like got together.
COVID, Facebook will Facebook memories remind you of things, and like right about now is the point that I started to make friends with people
Mhm.
in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was right about
Because I
now.
remember when Jerome hit me up for Image Grand Design, it was COVID and we went to an Airbnb for my birthday. And it was still kind of like, is this going to be a thing where we can't travel anymore? I had
Mhm.
set up a
Yeah,
Wizard 1 release party at
I
Collector's
remember.
Paradise for like the 29th or something like that. It got canceled. And then that's when everything was like, yeah, it went crazy.
fascinating to think about that now.
Yeah, it's a trip. It's
4 years
definitely a
ago.
trip.
Truly is.
I mean, we're talking about the great experiences we had there, but like the first thing that I thought about, and maybe this is just like me not completely enjoying the moment, but I was like, what's next? That's where my mind went. Like, what do we do next? Because like I
Yeah. Is
wanted to
that
keep
like
it
a dark
rolling.
thought for you though? Yeah, I love what's next.
No, yeah, not a dark thought, but I'm saying like sometimes people are like, why don't you just enjoy what you're doing now and stop
Yeah,
like thinking about like what trying to get to the
yeah.
next step. But like
Definitely
that's what I
planning.
thought. I'm like, I don't want this to be a once a year thing, right? Like I
Right.
want it to be something where we get together. Yeah, it doesn't even need to be a con, right? Like it could be anything, like where we just do like
Could
have
be.
hangouts
Yeah,
or
that
whatever.
would take out a lot of everything else,
Yeah. Yeah.
So
But
yeah, that's for sure.
definitely like excited to see what the next step is for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm always excited about whatever the next thing is. Whatever the next thing is that we're doing is always so exciting to me.
Mhm.
The same way that Ghost Agents came out of Image Grand Design for me, the same way that, going to something like this, it's like, okay, now I've met new people. I mean, there is a point where I was on the floor. I won't say the names of who the people were because it wouldn't be prudent to do that, and it goes against my cardinal rule. But it was like, all right, you want to be in Ghost Agents? You want to be in Ghost Agents. How many pages you want? How many pages do you want? What do you like to draw? What do you not like to draw? Okay, I'm going to write that script. You guys watch your inboxes. And it's like being able to have that happen in person, which I've done online many times now. So cool. To just walk around in a place where I just felt very much like I belonged, which is not a feeling I get often in life, to be honest. And to also just feel like people here respect the same things that I respect, and they respect me, and I respect them. And in a very special, particular way, I'm at home here,
Mhm.
you know, and it's when you're a weird person, you don't get that a lot in life, So it's definitely like
I hear
one
you.
of those moments.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I've never wanted to create a comic book more than
Yeah.
after being there.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting talking to just so many different people that make the things, and you just kind of look around and like the way the t-shirts kind of became a certain social currency there, or like whatever your buttons are,
Mhm.
you can immediately be like, I know what you're into. I know what you make. and kind of
Mhm.
just the way that people carry themselves. It was really something. It was really,
Well,
really
too,
something.
something that Omac said, shout out Omac, is
Oh
that
my God.
like it'll be cool to see like in a year or two the fruits that blossom from the seeds that were planted of like people working together, or people starting a comic or an anthology, or being like, oh my God, we met here, we realized we have way more in common than we thought, and now we're going to be working on something, or now we have a friendship. And I mean, that is going to be really cool to see, like what happens. Are people going to get together, do something different? I mean, it's just exciting to see what happens. Like you're saying, next year at IC3, next year some sort of independent con West Coast, something like that. Like anything that grows out of all this will be incredibly awesome.
It's
Yeah,
very, very cool.
I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, it kind of is similar to what happened from Image Grand Design. You know what I mean? Like a lot of projects sprung from that, right? Ghost
Yeah, it was fun.
Agents
For
sprung
one
from
thing.
that.
Yeah, to me,
So,
this was like the next one of them. This was the next thing. And
mhm.
this is like the 2.0 kind of version can come out of this. So
Yeah.
it's
This
just
is the
awesome.
IRL in real life,
Yeah.
like meetup, thing that seems like a lot of people that everyone needed, and it set new fires under people's asses, like real ones, not just, ones by people online, and had new team ups and reaffirmed old team ups, and it's just like I said before, it's gonna be amazing to see what fruits from these roots. And I mean, we didn't even get to talk about Eric Talbot and Jim Lawson. Like, it was so amazing meeting those guys.
Mhm.
Ryan, me and you have been doing these volume 4 videos this whole time, talking about how much we love their art and how insane it is and how we love every single line that they do. It was insane to see them and meet them. And
Yeah. Well,
they're
return to New York, getting to ask them about that when we did that whole 3-part episode where we went through it, and then getting to
yeah.
ask him, he's like, everybody asks about Zog. And I was like, that was awesome, dude. And
Yeah,
like,
man.
oh my God, like when I was sitting there next to you, that also was like very out of body experience, because I was like, I feel like a kid.
Yeah.
I feel like a little kid getting to go up and talk to somebody that I like looked up to. Like Jim Lawson's like, to me, the most prolific Turtles artist. Kevin
It's
Eastman
not
has
to you,
done,
he
yeah.
is.
Kevin
Yeah.
Eastman probably people would say because he's doing covers still, but I still think he has so many pages, covers, whatever to do to
The
catch
most
up to Jim.
interiors of anyone,
Yeah,
for sure.
for sure. Yeah, that was dude, probably one of the highlights for me.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can chat with at least Eric in the future.
Yeah, definitely want to get him on the channel, go through the issue 17 for sure.
It's a cool show when these are the top guys there,
Yeah.
like those are the guys who deserve to have get their shine on in a
Mhm.
position like that, at
Hell
least once.
yeah.
One of the big things too is getting to meet and interact with Ken Landgraf. I mean, it's one of those deals where it's like when you're talking to a guy like that, you have to sort of put out of your head like who he is and what he's done in his life and the people he's known and interacted with, and the bits and pieces of what his life has been. Fascinating guy, cool guy. I really didn't know what to expect. He and his wife Penny were both just first rate, and
Penny and Penny.
yeah, getting to spend some time with him, and I kind of felt like I was the belle of the ball when I got to have those pages at the hotel to sort of show everybody and wonder over. One of those deals where seeing them in person is better than any sort of reproduction you can ever see. To see like that Zipatone from that Elvis record that he's been Xeroxing for the last 50 years and
That was
cutting
awesome.
out into bits and pieces to
I
suit
just
his.
seen it, smelling the fucking ink. When I walked by
Yeah,
his table, I could smell the ink
yeah.
coming off of the pages that he had over there. It was dope.
It was
And they're just
wild.
like it's like this stack of like kind of like crunchy, wobbly pages because they're all full of glue and ink and
Yeah.
paint and stuff. It's just like a flat thing. It's just like it's like super tactile experiencing his table, feeling the pages. It's amazing. It's
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It
so
was
good.
great, dude. It was funny too, because like he recognized me and I didn't think he'd recognize me. I talked to him one time,
Yeah.
and I guess he said that when we were walking down the panel, he's like, Ryan? And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, my wife she saw you. She's like, I think that's him. And I was like, it was such a surreal experience. I was like, how did you fucking remember me, dude? We talked one time, but he was such a sweet person, like you call him an outlaw artist, right? But he's like the nicest, one of the nicest.
He calls himself an outlaw artist.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
the whole thing
crazy. He's
started with it.
so sweet. His stories too in that panel, like,
yeah.
oh my god, dude, those are fucking funny. I was laughing in this.
Definitely a streetwise.
You were laughing too when you
I was cracking up. Well, I mean, there's so many things where it's like, he's got stories that he can't tell in a public about different comic creators and different situations he's been in. But yeah, you got to get him on this thing, man. Let me come with you and we'll do that. That'd be great.
Yeah, for a creator commentary, maybe we'll do the Ghost Agents book. That would be dope.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
We'll definitely get that going for sure.
Ghost Agents Outlaw Town, available to order now. That's how excited we are about IC3. I almost forgot to promote something.
Yeah.
If that ever happened.
Yeah. Link will be down below.
Yeah, well, you can just cut this however you want, but I'll do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'll do it. I'll leave it at the end. But yeah, I mean, I think that like to see the fruits from the roots, as Eli said, which I really like. It's crazy to think of, like, it's not just necessarily, like you said, not just comics that are going to come out of it, not just, maybe another con, but the friendships and stuff. And like, everybody, in my opinion, everybody played a part, whether it was, Matt Sardo for kind of kicking it off, right, with doing the Kickstarter and kind of corralling people, Rocco, all the work that you did, Eli, all the work that you did and continue to do with Cosmic Lion. But I think it's friendships too, right? Like the friendships and the relationships we're building, to me, are more important than anything else. I think because, like, I don't know about you guys, when I was a kid, there's nobody that I had in my life, no friends that liked comic books. There was none. It wasn't until I got
hanging
older
out with like the worst people because they like comic books.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just crazy. And then, like, I just, before I forget, I just have to say, like, Manny, who I've spent like so much time with too online, it was like seeing an old friend. It was like seeing somebody that I've known for the longest fucking time, and like meeting him at the airport, like he was the first person I saw when I landed. He waited for me, we came together, and I'm just so grateful for everybody that was a part of this show, every single person that tabled. If I got comics from you, I mean, I'm stoked. If I didn't get comics from you, it's not like I didn't want to. I can only spend so much, and I only have
you only got so much money, and you got to get them back to you where you live.
Exactly. But it's the indie creator spotlights that are going to spring from this too, and the fucking creator commentaries that are going to spring from this are plentiful. I already talked to Morgan this morning, so we already did one in the morning, and we're gonna do a creator commentary in his book. But yeah, I'm just in a state of gratitude still a week later,
very much so. And we're all kind of living in that. Sardo deserves a lot of credit for putting his ass on the line. I mean, that's kind of the deal, where somebody needs to be the one to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this risk. We're going to do the best we can to mitigate it. We'll see what happens. That was something that I think we were reticent to do for sure. So yeah, I mean, without somebody doing that, it's always that kind of thing of like, people can sit around all day, all year, all their lives, and just kind of be like, wouldn't it be cool if somebody, what somebody should do, for somebody to actually take the initiative to start something like that is a really big deal, and Sardo was the guy that did that.
Agreed. Huge shout out to Sardo. And, he was there kind of keeping everything running too. And he was doing all the nuts and bolts stuff that wasn't the like joyful comic experience all the time, selling tickets, giving out badges. And so then when it was Saturday night and we were partying at the hotel, he deserved all that Tullamore dew that we consumed or whatever, Cheers to him for sure.
Yeah, cheers to you, Sardo.
Indeed.
I just want to say, like, obviously I'm great friends with you guys, but I love anytime we get to hang and chat, whether it's in person or on here. But I want you guys also to, everybody that's listening and watching, if you missed the show, make sure you follow the Facebook group. I'll link it down below. Make sure you follow Rocco and Eli. I'll drop links down below where you guys can find all their stuff as well. And I can't wait for the next one, dude.
Yeah, me neither, man. Me neither.
Awesome.
I'd like to see something like this happen on a seasonal basis at this point, you know?
Yeah.
At least twice a year, you know, at least
Yeah.
twice a year, dude.
Yeah,
And
bi-coastal.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, go follow them. Check out the group online. Make sure you stay up to date on all indie comics creators. And check out the playlist because I have a lot of indie creator spotlights, so you can't go wrong with any of those. And on that note, we're out.